Shalom, Yasharala. On this one, I'm gonna discuss something a little weird, but it's actually a real thing, believe it or not. Well, you know. So I was in my car on my way to drop something off, and in my car, I listen to a variety of music. A lot of people think it's all hip hop. It's really not. It's hip hop, R&B, dancehall, even a little bit of rock, and believe it or not, even club. Very little club, though, to be honest. By club, I don't know if you can call it house. I call it club music. There's this one song that I think is the best club song ever, called "Fired Up," and I'm just recently finding out it's by a group called Funky Green Dogs from Florida. Because when we used to listen to club music in the club or wherever it was, we never really cared about who the fuck made the song. It could be the same goddamn person that made the whole song. I don't know. I don't care. But it got me to thinking, like, what's the best club song ever? And then I thought about it, like, this one is great. There's Some Hoes in This House is another one. And then I started to thinking, you know, because when you're in this truth, you think deeply about a lot of things. And I'm probably talking over a lot of y'all heads, because a lot of y'all probably don't even, you know, hear these songs. You don't even probably know what Fired Up is. To me, Fired Up is the king of club songs, because of just the way the beat come in, and the different times within the song the beat changes, and even the generic singing that's in the song, right? And it's all like, it combines for the perfect club song. Which, even though I don't dance, you know, you see women mostly dancing on the club, you know, with these songs come on. But what I find funny is there's another song that's probably gets a lot of great, let's say, action on the dance floor, which is called "There's Some Hoes in This House." So when that song come on, women dance just like with Fired Up, just like Percolator, just like Get on the Donkey, and a whole bunch of other fucking club songs. But what I find funny about "There's Some Hoes in This House" is women have no reservations about dancing to it. There's some hoes in this house. There's some like that's what the song says. And women be in them fucking clubs dancing to that shit. Dancing, drinking, smiling, twerking. I mean, with club songs, the vibe wasn't a twerking vibe when I was growing up. When they did twerk, they used to call it the give it up. But it was different from twerking. Twerking is just twerk. Like, not really dancing. You know, you could be totally off rhythm and twerk just as good as any other person. You know, dancing is dancing and twerking is twerking. Those are two different things, honestly. You know, but anyway, it just got me to thinking how through music, I think a lot of the brainwashing that is taking place with our people, like rappers singing, people dancing and singing, women, to rappers calling the same bitches and hoes and shit. What these bitches want from a nigga, you know, like that type shit. Like these women nowadays, and we sit here and take it, you know, we berate these women like they're the lowest thing on the planet Earth, but we have to understand that these women have been guided by evil. And the evil isn't just with a so-called white man's face or a black man's face. They've been guided by pure evil. You know, just like in my last video, I was discussing this thing that I saw on, and I didn't even finish seeing it actually, on Tony Robbins. And he had a woman get up because she was suicidal. And at first, you know, you're wondering why, because she's a good-looking woman. You know, but a lot of the people that are going through the worst mental health crises are people that are favorable. that don't seem to know that they are. So this woman, you know, she gets up and talks about how she grew up in some sex cult where you're still in single digit ages and you're giving up ass. And that's how you show your love to people, by having sex, giving them sex. And her whole family's in that cult. It's not a brainwash where you have one person that brainwashed the whole group. No, they brainwashed themselves. And it could be one person that probably gets the most out of it. I don't know. Usually, cults that involve sex, the person that's the leader usually gets all the sex. Or the most. You know. But it's crazy how she told her story tearfully, of course, because she's what 26 years old, and that's all she knows is the sex cult. Never had a relationship. You know, probably wouldn't know what to do in a normal relationship. You know, and then it makes you think, like, the brainwashing that has gone. And she's a white woman, or looks like a white woman. It makes you think about the brainwashing that's going on in this world, and how, you know, even though music, she didn't tell the story of music, but music is a part of what has brainwashed black and brown people, particularly women, into thinking that your only value is to open your legs. That's your only value. You only mean anything in this world if you have sex, if you give up sex. Give up meaning give it to people. So then every relationship they get into, you know, they are being conditioned to think the only thing you mean to anybody in this world is to just sex. And it would be perfectly fine, or it would be somewhat okay if it was one guy, right? But no, it's every guy that these women meet is you know, because to be real, if a woman has a husband, that husband, yeah, she's got to give him sex. Like, that's kind of what her function is, right? That and more, companionship and all that stuff too, you know. But when it's like, you know, you're mandated to give your body to every man you meet, you know, and the music kind of helps, you know, the drugs, the liquor helps you with that, maintain that mentality of I'm worthless unless I give my body, because I don't have anything else. You know, women don't realize their power. And I know this doesn't sound like an Israelite type teaching, but it is. Because if you think about it, why did the Lord create women? It wasn't just for sex. The Lord created women because women have certain nurturing qualities that they can provide in a relationship. Doesn't have to just be like, oh, sex, you know. Sometimes just simply, you know, holding on to each other type shit. You know, letting a man know he's not fighting this world by himself. These are things that are valuable to women. Cooking and cleaning, of course, you know, those are also functions that are, you know, for women, you know. And it's crazy how society has basically told women, hey, just have good pussy, you don't even need to cook. That's kind of how they're treated. That's kind of, you know, not exactly the message, but it is kind of the message. You know, it's implied. It's not outright said, right? So, you know, just kind of goes to show what type of sick world we live in. But anyway, you know, with that, I'm going to say shalom. And, you know, to you brothers out here, to you sisters, you brothers don't have to empty out your wallets to be worth being on this earth. And you women, you don't have to fuck every guy. In fact, you should only fuck one guy if, you know, hopefully you get a man of the Lord. Because a lot of these guys ain't worth your fucking time. A lot of y'all are valuable more than you know. Where the fuck is Barnes and Nobles? I'm sitting here driving around looking for a fucking bookstore because I gotta teach a class of possible fourth graders. And I need to find Barnes and Nobles. Where the fuck is Barnes and Nobles? But anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.